Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something I think many of us have felt. That really frustrating experience where your conscious mind just checks out and you're suddenly run by this primal instinct.
Right, this anxiety creature, as the source calls it.
Exactly. We want to get into how it takes over, how it hijacks our behavior, sometimes completely against what we want to do, and maybe more importantly, how we can start to, work with it instead of always fighting it.
It's like a short circuit, isn't it? Your body just launches this whole defense plan, a reaction that feels totally out of your control, sometimes before your thinking brain even catches up.
Yeah. And the source material gives this perfect, kind of painfully relatable story to kick things off. The author, working for this really difficult boss they nicknamed Ervil Pondwater.
Ah, yes, Pondwater.
Right. And he had assigned these incredibly tedious tasks, like inputting 4,000 questionnaires over a single weekend, just soul-crushing stuff. And when the author tried to say no, tried to push back, they just froze. Physically paralyzed. They called it getting sucked into the vortex of enthusiastic agreement.
Where you're smiling like a maniac, saying, yes, yes, of course.
While inside, you're screaming. And then apparently, they'd immediately run away, literally muttering, run away, run away.
That's classic. That's the flight response desperately trying to take over from the fawn response that just said yes.
Exactly. And then the punchline is, they get home, ready to start this horrible task, and their body just quits. Goes totally limp, like overboiled spaghetti was the description, utterly drained, helpless.
That feeling, that's the key. Being overwhelmed, hating it, but biologically stuck in this pattern you can't seem to break.
That's the defense mechanism in action.
It is. It's what's called the defense cascade. It's a set of hardwired reactions, from our evolutionary past. They operate way below conscious thought. Your nervous system senses a threat, could be a saber-toothed tiger, could be Ervil Pondwater, and boom, survival mode kicks in.
A system that evolved long, long before spreadsheets and demanding bosses.
Millennia before, yeah.
Okay, so let's unpack this cascade. Because it seems weird, right? That anxiety can cause such different reactions. Like, how does explosive anger and just collapsing on the couch come from the same place?
Well, that's the fascinating part. The range of options the nervous system has.
Yeah.
We all know the classic fight or flight, right? Walter Bradford Cannon back in the day.
Sure.
But science now recognizes there's more to it. They've added 3 other key responses to really understand the whole defensive picture.
Giving us the 5 Fs. Fight, flight.
And fawn, freeze, and flop.
Okay. Let's make these real for you, the listener. The sources use these great little client stories.
Yeah, they really bring it to life.
So, fight, that's Jim. He's just having a drink with his friend Leonard. Everything seems fine. Then, bam, this wave of just like inexplicable rage washes over him. He actually wants to punch Leonard.
Out of nowhere. He just leaves the bar, totally confused and angry at himself, too.
Then flight. That's Fred. He has this amazing date with Britta, really connected. But the next morning, he just feels judged. No reason, no evidence.
And the things she did.
Nothing. And he just ghosts her,
Yeah.
disappears. That's an unconscious flight from what, intimacy?
From the perceived threat of emotional closeness, yeah.
Okay. Then Fawn. Lindsay. She's at a party, stuck next to this really charismatic but, narcissistic guy, Chris. And she finds herself just laying it on thick, laughing too hard, flattering him constantly.
Even while she feels sick about it.
Yeah.
Disgusted with him, disgusted with herself for pandering. It's that social appeasement thing pushed way too far.
Totally. And Freeze, Emma, the intern, wants so badly to do well, but every time her mentor asks her something, her mind just blanks.
It goes completely empty. She just stands there making these little gasping noises, the source says, like she's trying to vanish.
Yeah, it's like a system shutdown. Which leads to the last one, Flop. This is Kirby. She gets a huge promotion, something she worked for.
Should be celebrating, right?
You'd think. Instead, she goes home, builds a fortress of solitude on her couch, and watches like 40 seasons of Survivor for a week straight.
Total collapse.
Yeah.
The nervous system is basically saying, okay, threat is overwhelming and inescapable, shutting down, conserve energy.
Wow. Okay, quick question, though. The Fawn response, Lindsay's people-pleasing, is that ever useful? Or is it always like a bad pattern?
That's a really good question. In genuine survival scenarios, like maybe a child dealing with an abusive parent, fawning might actually be the safest strategy available. It minimizes harm.
Okay.
But when it becomes the default, like with Lindsay at the party,
Yeah.
then it's destructive. It erases who she really is, what she needs. And the thing is, these reactions, they aren't just one-time things. They easily become these downward anxiety spirals.
Right, because we tell ourselves a story to make sense of the panic afterwards, don't we?
We absolutely do. Jim doesn't think, oh, my amygdala just fired. He thinks Leonard's an idiot. People are idiots. My anger is justified.
Fred thinks, see? Women are judgmental. Good thing I got out.
Exactly. And Lindsay told herself, oh, I'm just being a good Southern girl, keeping things pleasant. Polite flattery.
And that's the trap, isn't it? Those stories, those explain and control arguments, as the source calls them, they just feed the fear.
They do. They loop right back to the primitive, frightened part of the brain, the left amygdala. It's like we're believing our own justifications, which just digs the groove deeper, makes that anxiety creature stronger.
We reinforce the fear instead of finding the actual signal, the thing that set it all off.
Precisely. That signal, that instantaneous cue that lights the fuse. That's what scientists mean by a psychological trigger.
And we should be clear, this isn't the way the word trigger gets thrown around sometimes, like an excuse for bad behavior.
No, not at all. This is the scientific meaning, an involuntary response. The brain's old alarm system just takes over before you have a say. And it's incredibly good at creating these trigger associations.
It flags anything that was happening right before something bad happened.
Anything. A song playing, the color of a shirt someone was wearing, a particular smell. If it was there during trauma or intense pain, the brain can tag it as part of the cause. A danger cue.
The example that really hit me was the Army veteran. Years after Vietnam, he starts having terrible panic attacks. Out of the blue. In the shower.
Yeah.
It wasn't a flashback, not a memory. It was the smell. His wife bought a new brand of soap.
The exact same brand he'd used during his deployment.
And bam, full panic attack. Purely sensory. Involuntary.
That's why slowing down, talking through these patterns, helps us decode the triggers.
Yeah.
It moves us from just being confused and overwhelmed to actually understanding the mechanism.
And the decoded triggers, they can be so specific, it's almost unbelievable.
Right. Like Jim's rage at Leonard. It wasn't Leonard being annoying. It kicked in the exact moment Leonard swirled his scotch glass.
Just like his violent stepfather used to do right before an outburst.
Exactly. The swirling was the trigger. For Fred, feeling judged by Britta, it hit him the second he felt attracted to her.
Because of his upbringing.
Yeah, a very puritanical background. Years of unconscious shame around sexual feelings just surfaced as this feeling of being judged.
Wow. And Lindsay, the fawning.
Raised by narcissistic parents. The only way she got positive attention was by constantly praising them. So her system learned. See that personality type deliver ooh and ah.
It's like a program running.
It is. And Kirby's collapse, the flop onto the couch.
Not burnout from the new job.
Nope. It was years of exhaustion from struggling with undiagnosed dyslexia. Just the sheer constant effort of keeping up finally overwhelmed her system when faced with a new big challenge.
Okay, so decoding the trigger is huge. It makes you feel less crazy, right? But here's the kicker. Knowing the trigger doesn't necessarily stop the reaction, does it?
Unfortunately, no. Not on its own. Logic doesn't switch off the alarm. Think about Cassie, the woman terrified of flying. She knew flying was statistically safe. She'd tell herself, don't make a scene.
But as soon as the plane took off,
her system triggered, and she's ripping off her seatbelt, screaming, land this plane now! Total hijack.
Or the author herself, getting a routine mammogram, knowing she was safe, but still shaking, swooning.
Feeling like she was dangling from the machine by a single anguished teat, as she put it. The anxiety creature just runs its program. Ruthless implacability was the phrase used.
So you can't just think your way out of it.
You can't. You have to work with the nervous system itself, the biology. And that brings us to the polyvagal circuit.
Okay, polyvagal.
Right. Poly meaning many, vagal meaning wandering. So it's literally this network of nerves wandering all through your body. It's the master control for that whole defense cascade we talked about.
Like an internal command center.
Kind of like an evolutionary traffic light system, determining if you feel safe, cautious, or totally shut down.
Okay, let's map those lights. The 3 states, our spidey senses, as the source calls them.
So the newest part, evolutionarily speaking, is the green light state. This is linked to nerves in our face and head. It governs social engagement, connection, feeling safe with others.
This is when we can pick up on safety cues, like someone's calm voice.
Exactly. Like that famous Chris Voss late-night DJ voice effect. It's soothing. When we're in green, we feel calm, curious, creative, connected.
Okay, green is good. Then yellow.
Yellow light. Middle evolution. This connects more to the heart and lungs. It ramps things up, faster heart rate, muscle tension. This is the state that triggers fight, flight, and fawn.
The high action responses.
Right. It's shouting, caution, potential danger, mobilize.
Got it. And the red light.
Red light. This is the oldest part of the system, linked deep down in the gut, the lower abdomen. This is the ultimate emergency brake. Total shutdown.
For inescapable horror.
Pretty much. This triggers freeze and flop, what neuroscientists call dorsal vagal collapse. It's why deep shock or trauma can literally make you feel punched in the gut or even pass out.
Okay, but why evolve that? Why just collapse or freeze? Why not always fight or run?
Well, think about it from an animal's perspective. Playing dead or playing possum. It conserves energy when escape or fighting seems impossible. And sometimes the predator loses interest if the prey seems dead. So it is adaptive in certain extreme situations.
But in humans, getting stuck there leads to Kirby on the couch, depression, disconnection.
Exactly, chronic shutdown. And the problem for many of us stuck in those anxiety spirals is what the source calls vagal brake failure.
The vagal brake.
Yeah, it's what normally helps us downshift from that mobilized yellow state back to green. It relies on the right side of our brain, the part that observes calmly, to send the all-clear signal.
But if we're stuck looping in worry...
In the left brain's hall of mirrors, as the source puts it, telling ourselves scary stories and justifications.
The right brain's calm signal never gets through. The brake fails.
Precisely. And we just keep spiraling into those unhealthy patterns because the system never gets the message that the danger, real or imagined, is past.
So the left brain is the storyteller, the panic narrator, and the right brain is the calm observer, but the narrator is shouting too loud.
That's a great way to put it. And when we get pushed all the way into that red light zone, oh man, the whole world looks different. Bleak.
Green feels impossible.
Totally impossible. Flowers aren't beautiful. They're just potential allergens. Cute kitten videos, they just remind you everything dies eventually.
Ugh. Total hopelessness. And the source mentions people using one kind of anxiety to block another, like work stress to avoid relationship conflict.
Yeah, Marcus obsessing over deadlines because he was terrified of conflict with his partner. Or Kirsten using anger at doctors to avoid the sheer grief of her mother dying.
Trying to stay in yellow to avoid falling into red.
Essentially, yeah. Trying to mask that deep shutdown panic with something that feels maybe a bit more active or controllable, even if it's still anxiety. But understanding all this, it lets us shift from fighting the system to actually partnering with it, giving it the safety signals it needs.
Okay, so how do we do that? This partnership idea leads to a practical method, right? A 4-step process.
Yeah, adapted from a zoo vet, actually, someone who worked on calming highly stressed animals.
That makes sense.
The core idea is simple but powerful: waiting until nothing happens. It's about retraining your nervous system, teaching it that those uncomfortable physical sensations of anxiety, they're actually tolerable. They aren't lethal.
Okay, step 1.
Step 1, find or create your sanctuary. A real physical place where you genuinely feel safe. Your favorite armchair, a corner of your office, maybe a spot in the garden.
Step 2, fill it with glimmers.
Glimmers. The opposite of triggers. Little things that bring a tiny spark of unforced ease or joy.
Like what?
Could be anything. A soft blanket, the smell of coffee or rain, looking at a plant, a cup of tea. Simple sensory things. And because our brains have that negativity bias always scanning for threats, we have to consciously hunt for these glimmers at first. Actively look for moments of okayness.
Okay, sanctuary and glimmers. Step 3.
Bask. Once you're in your sanctuary, surrounded by glimmers, you deliberately focus on the physical sensations of that green light state. Is there a little hum of energy anywhere? Warmth, relaxation in your shoulders or jaw?
Notice the good feelings.
Notice any tiny bit of good feeling. And use kissed. Keep it simple, sweetheart. Just gently reassure that anxious part of you. Right now, in this moment, you're okay. All is well.
Then step 4, this sounds like the tricky one. Think yellow.
Gently, yes. You intentionally bring to mind a minor stressor, not the huge, overwhelming thing, but something small, like, oh, I need to renew my driver's license, or I have to make that phone call.
Okay, low stakes.
Very low stakes. And the goal isn't to solve the problem right then. The goal is to stay mostly in your green state while just observing the physical sensations of yellow starting to creep in.
What does that feel like?
Maybe your heart speeds up a little, your shoulders tense slightly, your breath gets a bit shallower. You just watch it with curiosity.
And what if that little stressor does tip you over? If you suddenly feel overwhelmed or want to run or shut down?
That's okay. It happens. That's when you use the emergency tool. SPACE.
Okay, SPACE. An acronym.
Right. It's for getting back to green without getting sucked into the defense reaction. S, is for surrender. Just allow the feeling to be there. Don't fight it or judge it.
Okay.
P is for peace.
Yeah.
Scan your body for any tiny spot that still feels calm or neutral. Focus there. A is appreciation. Bring a glimmer back to mind. Savor it.
Okay.
C. C is connection. Think of a beloved person, pet, even a plant. Feel that connection. And E is enjoyment. Focus on one single pleasant thing you can see, hear, or feel right now. The pattern on the rug, a bird singing for just 10 seconds.
SPACE. Surrender, peace, appreciation, connection, enjoyment.
That's it. It helps interrupt the spiral and brings you back.
So the whole point of this back and forth bask and think yellow is that core technique. Wait until nothing happens. You feel the yellow sensations, you observe them, you maybe use space if needed, you return to green, and you keep doing it until that yellow sensation just feels boring.
Exactly. Until your nervous system literally gets bored with it. It learns through direct experience. Oh, this feeling, increased heart rate, tense shoulders. It's uncomfortable maybe, but it's not actually dangerous. Nothing terrible is happening. That's the retraining.
You teach the anxiety creature that the alarm is false, or at least manageable.
You teach it that the sensations are tolerable, non-lethal.
And did this work for the people in the stories? Jim, Lindsay, Kirby?
Apparently, yes, profoundly. Jim got his relaxed personality back. Lindsay stopped feeling compelled to fawn over charming narcissists. Kirby connected with the underlying anger about her dyslexia, which was actually empowering, and started building real self-esteem.
They went from being ambushed by these reactions to using them as information.
Using the cascade wisely. As a signal, not a life sentence.
Okay, so connecting this back out. The bigger picture here seems really significant because a lot of us, I think, feel like we need to stay anxious or angry about big problems, social injustice, climate change, whatever. Like that fear is the only thing that motivates action.
Right. That assumption is deeply ingrained. But the source material flips that completely. It argues that all the worst things humans do, war, cruelty, oppression, happen when people are collectively stuck in panic and rage, stuck in yellow and red states.
So being calm, being in that green state, it isn't about being passive or complacent.
Not at all. It's the opposite. The green state is where our brains actually work best. It's the foundation for clear thinking, creativity, problem solving, positive connection.
It lets us have a calm, intelligent response instead of just reacting.
Exactly. Peace gives us access to our best selves, our full intelligence. So the provocative thought to leave you with, the listener, is this. If you could approach problems more often from that clear, calm, green light place, instead of from a panicked yellow or shut down red, what problem in your own life, or maybe even in the world, might you finally be able to solve?